Joining us here in studio at the table to give us the latest on the Israel-Hamas war, including funding and support for the conflict and some of the economic impact and so much more. Nir Barkat here. He's Israel's Minister of Economy and Industry, and I want to thank you for joining us during
Thank you very much. Good morning.
Very, very tumultuous time. You are here, I believe, in part at the request of Bibi Netanyahu to try to meet with business leaders and others and talk about funding and the like. What are you hearing when you meet with business leaders here in the U.S. right now?
Well, I was also in Washington meeting a lot of senators and congressmen. I think they all, first of all, want to hear from firsthand what really happened. And when we tell them the atrocities, when they see the videos, when they understand that we talk about monsters that the Jewish people have not seen since the Holocaust. We're talking about over 30 babies and children under the age of 16. Let me show you the picture. See this? 30 babies, children that were abducted and that are hostages. What's happening with them? We have no idea. Where's the Red Cross? Where are the people that talk about humanitarian rights? This is, Israel's shaken. We're shaken and we understand that we're talking about monsters. Imagine that you have a neighbor that tells you he wants to kill you and he wants to rape your wife, put your little baby in the oven. We're talking about atrocities that are beyond imagination. In our wildest dreams, we never thought that something like this can happen. And then they keep on telling you that they're going to do it to you as well, not just to your neighbor. We have to wipe them off the map. And our friends really want to understand what we intend to do. And we're telling our friends here in America, we need time to wipe Hamas off the map, off the face of the earth. That is the goal. And we need the time and the support to do that.
So here's the conundrum. You are also facing pushback, as you know, on that very idea. Not on the idea of getting rid of Hamas, but what it takes to do that, and whether other people who are innocent are going to be caught in the crossfire of this. Mm-hmm. And they are.
See, we have shelters. We put our civilians in our shelters, and the IDF protects them. You know what happens in Gaza? The underground, which is sort of a shelter, is only for the terrorists. And what we saw in the Sheba Hospital, right, which is what we knew before, they're using their civilians, their people, as human shields. Now they're using hostages as human shields. So we in Israel and the Jewish people all over the world, we care.
Who bears responsibility for those deaths? Hamas bears responsibility for those deaths. Question. It's like holding someone in front of you, and to get to them, you have to. So the person holding the shield is responsible for the death.
Well, I don't understand. You have to tell me.
But you asked the question.
Well, because I think.
So here's what we did.
Look, here's
what we did. We got on foot to the hospital.
Right.
Because of the sensitivity. We really don't want any collateral damage. We don't want innocent people to be hurt. And that's why when we have the militants, we go after them. When we know that they're innocent people, we do our best. But they have to understand that if they're hiding terrorists, they may get hurt. So we're telling them, go to the south. Here's the corridor to go there. Unfortunately, Hamas stops them from leaving because they feel that the citizens of Gaza are the shields. Well, it's not going to help Hamas. We're going to get to them, and we have to do this not just for Israel's sake. The radical Islam around the world, if God forbid they succeed, it's going to happen everywhere. We are the little Satan. Right. The United States is the big Satan. They go to Europe. They go everywhere, all around the world. And we have to stop these Hamas jihadists.
Where do things stand in that battle? Where would you put it? How much longer do you think it will take you to be able to handle Hamas?
As long as it takes. We're cautious. People tell us we have a window of, the window may close. No, because we're cautious. We could do this swifter and faster, but with more collateral damage. We don't want that. We're sensitive to human lives, unlike those monsters that we talk about. So I believe that we're going to do it very cautiously, enable the innocent civilians in Gaza to flee away and to focus, and we're going to finish the job. And we need the help of the United States of America. I want to take this opportunity to thank the President of the United States. I want to thank the Americans. If anything, I'm here. We don't take for granted the support we get from the United States of America. in one of the toughest times, probably the toughest time since Israel was started, all of a sudden we see the president come, and we see the support we get, and we don't take it for granted. We have really good memory, and we know who our best friend is today.
Given your role, I want to have an economic question for you.
Please.
Which is, what do you think happens to the economy of Israel? What do you think happens to the economy of Gaza, and how what that would ever look like to get rebuilt, what that would ultimately cost, who would bear all of these costs?
When there's a war, there's a dip. Naturally, war costs money, probably in the magnitude of between 50 to 100 billion shekels, which is probably 10% eventually. The cost to the GDP may be 10%. And this is something that we can catch up very, very quickly after the war. Our high-tech sector does not lose a day of delivery. It is the engine leading Israel to the future. I think, if anything,
is it possible? You say that they don't lose a day of delivery. There are a lot of people that you know that were working that are now in the army.
Yeah, we know how to do reserve duty all the time. There's a redundancy in the companies. I myself was a company commander in the first Intifada in reserves, and I used to do 70 days a year. But my partners cover up, and the fact is that we know how to deliver. I think that there's high interest today in the world in Israeli entrepreneurship, and you see the Jewish community here, lots of people here in Wall Street are really interested. They understand the upside, because after a war, there's usually lots of creativity, lots of opportunities, and the friends here get it. And I think that as Minister of Economy and Industry, the interest is triple than it was before.
Mr. Barkat, short of a regime change in Iran, what's the solution?
We got to have a regime change not only in Iran, in Lebanon. We have to do it in Judea and Samaria.
But it all seems to trace back to Iran, doesn't it? It's sort of the head of the.
You're right.
The tentacle.
You're right.
Other than regime change, we keep here. 5 years ago, we thought there was some type of Arab Spring possible somewhere.
Yeah, I heard those stories. You remember when Israel left Gaza, people talked about having the Singapore of the Middle East. Now, right. Please work. What is amazing is that you see that the more they fight with us, they go down the tubes on the economic side, on everything.
They're going to have a bomb someday.
They're not.
Okay.
We must make sure they do not.